Hello and welcome to Bandit Geeks' first ever video. I'm James.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Axel.
Now, normally these will be done so you can see us. However, with the current situation with COVID, we're on a national lockdown, meaning we can't mix indoors.
That's right, so for the time being, we'll just be doing it online via Discord, but hopefully you'll still enjoy. We'll hopefully bring you some amazing content. But moving on to the next part.
So you may be wondering what this channel is about. Well, put simply, it's for anything anime and Yu-Gi-Oh related, from anime reviews to Yu-Gi-Oh deck profiles, and even attending some Comic-Cons.
These podcasts will be to discuss anime and Yu-Gi-Oh rumours, as well as answer any questions you may have. And we will even throw in a couple of fun segments along the way, such as, for example, unpopular opinions.
That's right, so this first section we're doing is called Unpopular Opinions. I will start with one which I'm not so sure of myself, but I think you may agree. So Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
If it wasn't for the motorbikes, I think it would have been the best Yu-Gi-Oh series.
I can't really say much because I've not actually seen much of 5Ds.
I have.
I've seen it.
I
I can kind of see where you're coming from on that. Like the actual term from is dual runners, though. I can
Yeah.
see what you're
They're
saying.
motorbikes.
That's why there's the whole joke of I came here to play a card game on motorcycle.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
I think without that, it would have been at least up there in the top two. My personal favourite currently is GX. I
Okay.
love GX. I think without the motorcycles, it would have been really close between them two.
I do not like GX.
Because
There's one reason you don't
Prowler's
like GX.
amazing.
Amazing! Prowler looks like a woman. Prowler is a woman. Prowler is trans.
And what's wrong with that?
It's just how Japan say, oh, he's a man, but he looks like a midlife crisis woman. Like,
Well, technically, it is a man. It just wears lipstick.
then he's trans.
No, a lot of
They pass him
men
off as
wear
a man.
lipstick.
James Charles. Okay.
Well,
I could have offended the entire internet there saying James Charles is not a man, but you know.
There's a lot more than just James Charles that wears lipstick. You know, lipstick was originally designed for men.
really?
Yes, it was a man thing.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Most
something every day.
most makeup was originally for men. High heels were originally for men. They were for butchers, so their feet didn't get dirty in the blood on the floor of the butchery.
Wow. Fair news.
So yeah, facts. But yeah, that's my unpopular opinion. That 5Ds would be top 2 Yu-Gi-Oh series if it was not for the motorbike things.
I can kind of see where you're coming from that because I quite enjoyed 5Ds.
I like
I'd say
that.
I'd actually say the bit that for me let it down a little bit in some ways was actually more the protagonist, you say, but not in a bad way. It was more the fact that he was such a skilled duelist that I don't think he like ever lost in the series apart from maybe flashbacks. But like during the actual main events of the series, I don't think he ever actually officially loses.
Yeah, but
And you see so many times he just pulls it out his ass, and
the thing is, don't all the main protagonists do that though?
they do that a lot. But like all the others apart from the one in Vrains, because he doesn't lose either. Obviously outside the flashbacks, but they all lose at some point, and I don't know. For me, it adds a bit more to it. Adds a bit more risk to it. I mean,
Yeah.
you know that more times than not they'll come out on top, but to see them lose every now and again, I don't know. It
No, I can see what you mean.
adds a bit more depth, a bit more feeling to it. Whereas
Yeah.
when they're like invincible, it's like there's no
It,
need to worry.
it actually looks like they're learning
Yeah,
if they lose once in a while. They're still not perfect.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, as I say, apart from that, I did quite like 5Ds, and you say is probably one of the better protagonists, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah.
It was just that I thought, they could have maybe had him lose like once or twice just to show him developing a bit more.
Yeah, but really the whole premise of the series was saving the world, so if he lost...
I suppose it depends on where you put it in. I mean, if you put it
Yeah.
at a point that's not too critical, it still allows that character development and for the story to reach its same conclusion. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe I'm just being a bit nitpicky there, but that's what I think. I mean, I was like,
Yeah.
overall, I did actually really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the duel was a bit weird at first. I'm not gonna lie. But I saw sort of after a few episodes, once you get into it, I was sort of able to see past that, past the
Yeah.
novelty of that. But
Okay.
I suppose it's up to everyone on that one.
So I think it's time to move on to Sean's opinion.
Okay,
Right.
so mine is actually a change of perspective.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
We know, like, most of my decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of contain a lot of power cards. I'm talking like Dragoon, Magnus, Infinite Impermanence, you know, a lot of high power cards that kind of have a bit of a hefty price tag. Except Magnus, of course. But, you know...
Basically, you like a big daddy boss monster.
Yeah. Well, my change of perspective is pretty much boss monsters and, like, high-price OP cards are not the end-all be-all of a deck.
Oh, no.
They don't... They're not what makes the deck, but I'm saying it's an unpopular opinion because when you go to regionals and tourneys and stuff, a lot of people are using meta decks with like the high pricey stuff, just so they can basically win the tournament. But
When you say the high pricey stuff, do you mean like expensive cards?
yeah,
Or
so
you-
you know, like high pricey cards like running Impermanence or Dragoon, you know, stuff like that. It's not the end all be all. What changed my perspective of it is actually the game, Legacy of the Duelist, Link Evolution. You play throughout the whole campaigns and you use their decks as the story, and a lot of their decks don't have much of the high power cards like Impermanence or stuff like that. Yes, they're in the game and you can buy them from packs. Well, pull them from packs in the game, but throughout most of the story, I was using a story deck. I never built my own deck, and just using their decks was quite fun. Going through the whole Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Kingdom arc. Well, not just that arc, but you go for like a lot of the battles throughout the whole of the first ever Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, and it's just like playing all the story decks. You just there like it brings a bit of nostalgia, and not only that, it kind of gets you used to the old. Well, I liked it because it's the old GOAT format, pretty much. There was, there was like Pot of Greed was in there at free for Christ's sake, and Graceful Charity was in there at free. But it's a case of you don't really need to rely on a boss monster when you can rely on other stuff in your deck.
I'll be honest, the way you've worded it is quite horrendous, if I'm honest.
I think I get where
I
he's
get what
coming from.
I think he's got kind of two opinions in one there. He's got like a big boss monster is not the be all end all, but also expensive power cards that see a lot of meta play are not the be all end all. I think he's like sort of fused those two
Yeah.
based on the sound of that. I mean, in both cases, I would agree it's not the be all end all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because there is a more fun side to it. But what I would say is the reason why meta players will spend a lot of money on meta cards such as Impermanence, Lightning Storm, to name just a couple of examples, is because they're competitive players, so the fun for them is the winning. So that's why they're going to go all out and do so. Whereas, like, for us, I mean, obviously we prefer to win and we'll sometimes play competitive decks ourselves, but at the same time, we're in it more for the fun. So that's why we have a lot of casual decks as well. So I think part of it will depend exactly what reason you're in Yu-Gi-Oh! For. Is it the fun side, is it the social side, or is it the competitive element?
Yeah, the way I look at it, back in the day, yeah, I'd agree more that your lower powered cards, your less expensive cards could still be good. But the problem is now there's so many good cards that your lower powered stuff doesn't stand a chance.
No card is useless.
I'd say that's mainly due to things like power creep, but the one bright side I would say is, yeah, you've got a lot of good new cards now, but a lot of them will go in multiple different decks. So like some older decks now are better than what they used to be, even if they're not like top tables or anything like that on the competitive scene. They're still like better than what they were. If that makes sense.
one of the most recent cards I know, recent archetype I know that got a fair bit of support and is still doing strong now is the Restrict.
To be fair, Restrict wasn't really like a full-blown archetype until more recently. It's only been like in the last, year or two or something. That's actually been like its own archetype. It was like a very niche thing you'd mix with something every now and then. There's like something really casual, really fun that never do anything. Now it actually functions like as a proper deck. There's actually like a proper strategy, a proper theme, and there seems to be a bit more of an end goal with it now than what there used to be. So that's sort of more in like the last couple of years that we've really seen that. For most of Yu-Gi-Oh's history, that it's just kind of been like a couple of cards that have been good, and then like that's about it. I mean, it's probably not helped the fact that Thousand Eyes was banned for years on end.
Right. Okay. So I think it's about time we move on from that one to James's.
Yes. My unpopular opinion is, in Yu-Gi-Oh, gold rares get more hate than they deserve.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree on that.
I mean, I actually think they look quite nice. Even the old ones. I mean, I think like the new ones from the maximum golds, they're definitely the best gold rares they've ever done.
They are looking gorgeous.
They are absolutely beautiful. I love them. But I'd say like the old ones, I actually still quite liked the old ones, but they always used to get a load of hate. Just for clarity's sake, I did not like the platinum rares or anything like that. I thought they were hideous, but
yeah, they were.
I actually quite liked the gold rares, especially like gold rare Xyz, like the gold contrasted with the black of the Xyz. I always thought was quite nice.
To be honest, I'm just trying to picture some of the gold rares I've seen. It's been so long since I've seen one.
Ghost gold gauze, though.
Oh, the ghost gold rares, I loved them. They were so nice. I wish they'd do them again, but probably not. Or at least not for a long time.
In my opinion, I'm not really fussed about rarity in general. It's a bit of like, yeah, some of them look nice, but I only really play them. I don't collect cards, so the rarity doesn't matter so much to me.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's true in your case, but like in the wider Yu-Gi-Oh community in general, there's so many people who give so much hate to gold rares. It's like, gold rares have done nothing wrong. If anything, you should be celebrating because it makes these good cards easier to get.
That's true.
And they look nicer than what you're saying they do.
I mean, I've got a pack of maximum gold due sometime this week. 4 packs, so.
Yeah, you have to tell us what you get. I mean, obviously, I got a full case of 6 boxes. Got some pretty good stuff as well.
The thing is, though, is you look at the price tags from some of the best cards out there, like Eldritch and Harpy's Feather Duster. You look at them price tags, and then the reprint now, the price tags have just shot down because now they're easier accessible to get. Like Harpy's Feather Duster gold rare is about £6 to £7.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, but what you will probably also find, because that card is so good, that Harpy's Feather Duster is a good card, that when the maximum gold set stops being sold, the price may increase again.
There is that.
Potentially. How much is another thing. I think it'd be quite limited because it has a few prints, and also it's the type of card that will get reprinted again just because it's generic.
Like Appaloosa's had 2 reprints within the space of a month. What, 2 months?
No, it's not within a month. Yeah, it's more like 2 months.
Is she still a good card?
I'm yet to get one.
The alternate art of Appaloosa is better than the original.
It's
another
£7.
unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion, Appaloosa's the bear.
No, Appaloosa is the bow. If you read the name, it is Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess. So
I'm dyslexic. It's Appaloosa, Bear of the Goddess.
How are you getting EAR from OW?
I'm dyslexic. I made it up.
No, it's not the bear. Because if it was the bear, then how come the bear is only in one of the 2 artworks?
Didn't we have this discussion before.
Yeah, it's because Sean has a hard-on for the bear.
He's into
No,
that
that's just
beastly stuff.
bestiality.
He's into that stuff, but he needs to know it is not the bear that is Appaloosa.
You can call the bear daddy for all I care. It's just not Appaloosa.
Only because you want to call me daddy.
No, you'll be calling him daddy.
Right, I think
Oh dear.
that's pretty settled.
Aye.
I think
Next part
it's Sean's turn to say something now.
Oh yeah.
certainly is.
1 minute. I'm eating duck roll.
For God's sake. Can you not wait?
I'm getting fat. Leave me alone.
Getting fat.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say a word.
Not fat. I'm not fat. I'm not a fat cock, but I'm not fat.
Oh, so you've got a chode then.
Ah.
Banter.
Have you finished eating your duck rolls, did you say it was?
Yes, duck rolls. Not dick rolls, duck rolls.
I bet you wish it was the former there though, don't you?
Alright, I'm ready.
Let's go then.
Okay, so Promised Neverland Season 2, it's just right around the corner, with its premiering sometime in January 2020. I think in Japan it's airing on January the 7th, I believe. But we still don't have a confirmed date for sub and dub. But oh my god, am I hyped. Season 1 was just intense and such a thrill, and every episode it just gave you paranoia and just keeps you on edge and wondering what is going to happen. Every time I saw Mom on the screen, I was just filled with hatred, but was also paranoid to see what would happen, and I just can't wait to see what happens next in the anime.
It sounds like a series I'll have to watch. And now I'm adding a section, which I didn't tell you about. But can we just talk about this fucking Sword Art Online Progressive? How good does that trailer look?
I've not seen it
looks
because
amazing.
It looks so good.
Same.
So from what I
It
understand,
looks amazing.
from what I understand, the story is going to be based tightly around what we actually see in the first arc of the anime.
right,
but it's-
I think it is.
But it's going to
What I've
expand on that because one of the biggest complaints with the anime was it's called Sword Art Online, but they were only in that game for what? I can't even remember, like 12 episodes or something.
Yeah, obviously they missed out a lot. Whereas I think like Progressive actually goes into like full detail
Yes.
on that. Well, I believe it does. I might be wrong.
That's what
Well,
I
actually-
understand.
Yeah, I do actually want to come back to the Promised Neverland thing that Sean mentioned. Mentioned
Right.
the date of the 7th of January. Admittedly, Crunchyroll was probably going to have it uploaded later that same day, because usually
Oh,
when it airs
nice.
in Japan, if Crunchyroll have got it, they'll usually upload it within about an hour or so of it airing in Japan.
Oh, nice.
So we'll probably see first episode subbed the same day. As for any dub, I don't know. I've not
I've
seen
got-
an announcement on that.
See, I've got a controversial opinion on Sword Art Online. So obviously you two have been getting hyped out for this next movie.
Can't wait.
Sword Art Online is not actually like one of the best isekais out there. Now, I can actually counteract on this because when I first watched it, I thought, oh yeah, this is such a good anime. You know, it's the best isekai I've seen so far. That was back when it came out. But now that I've actually gone back and rewatched it, it's just bland and generic. You know, and now with other isekais out there that can do so much better than that. For example, Rising of the Shield Hero. You know, it kind of like puts Sword Art Online back on the shelf for me to collect dust because at the end of the day, I've just tried to rewatch it and it just now becomes bland and too generic for me.
Have you
But that's
watched?
just like my controversial.
Have you watched the latest series?
I wouldn't.
Is it just me or is Sean lagging?
Sean is lagging.
Totally refuse.
But have you watched the latest series?
No, I refuse.
why it is so good.
It's just the fact that because I've tried to rewatch the first series, I couldn't do it. I can't even get into the second series anymore. So I just can't. It's just how I see it.
You can't fully rate an anime until you have watched all the series.
That's the thing. I know I can't, but the fact that I've tried to rewatch it to catch up to Astralization, whatever it's called,
you don't really need to catch up to watch the latest series. It's sort of a standalone.
It is kind of, to be fair. You could actually start at Astralization, however you pronounce it, and just start from there. To be fair, I need to catch up on it. I'm still part way through Astralization.
So long as you've seen the first series once and the second series once, it will make sense. Everything that happens, in my opinion. I don't think you need to rewatch anything to watch it. But it is fucking good.
I do know that once Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 is out, I'm rewatching Season 1.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right, so I think
there's an excuse to rewatch Season 1.
I think we've gone on about this long enough, so I think it's about time for the next section, which is James's top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh cards of all time.
Aye. And obviously, we'll be hearing what you guys think of them as well. Yep, so my top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh cards of all time. We're going to kick this off with one I've been playing around with sort of like the last year and a half for a deck I've really enjoyed, and that is Dingesu, the Orchestra of the Evening Star. Basically, with this card, you can summon it using either 2 level 8s or an Orchestra Link monster. And then on summon, you can either attach a banished machine monster to it as material, or you can send a card your opponent controls to the graveyard, so that's without targeting it and without destroying it. And also, if any cards you control would be destroyed, you can just detach material from it instead.
That's a good effect on that. It's not a card I've played, but it sounds like a good effect.
Oh, it is, and it's a generic rank 8 as well. It's like any deck that can make rank 8s can use it.
I mean, realistically, I'm obviously thinking about making Blue Eyes. Realistically, that could go in a Blue Eyes deck.
Yeah, it could, and it's like extra protection, not just for your dragons, but like for all your cards.
Yeah, well. I might actually consider adding one of them in if I do end up making that deck.
Yeah, as well as that, because the removal effect is non-targeting, non-destructive. Say your opponent's got something like Dragoon, if you can bait out the Dragoon negate, then make the Dingesu, that's the Dragoon gone.
Yeah. But it's baiting out that Dragoon, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the bit that's awkward, but if you've got a way to bait that out and then make the Dingesu, that's it.
I'm very stingy with Dragoon.
Yeah, but if you mistime your Dragoon, you can fuck that up.
Yeah. But anyway, enough of that, obviously. Main reason why obviously I found out about the card was obviously through playing Orchestra.
Good deck.
It is a very good deck. It can be a little fragile, like say the opponent's got like 2 or 3 hand traps, then I'm probably just stopped there with like nothing on board. But sometimes it can play through the disruption if you've got enough extenders.
Yeah.
And if you go uninterrupted, Sean really does not like August. If you've got enough extenders and you don't get interrupted, you can set up a situation where you can make like 7 disruptions for your opponent's turn. You could literally do more on their turn than what they can if you play it right.
Which is quite fun.
It is actually quite fun. It's like, my turn's not enough, so I'm having your turn as well.
I'm greedy. I want turns.
Yeah. 4 turns!
Let them eat cake.
Anyway, on to the next one. This is a card that's actually saved me in a few matchups before, and this card is a card that our friend Matthew absolutely despises. Denko Seka, or as she's also known, Denko Wrecker.
Yeah.
Denko's a girl.
Yes, it's a girl.
Oh.
Obviously, with a, if you control like no set spell or traps, then while she's faced upon the field, neither player can set spell or traps or activate spell traps that are already set. So it basically locks the back row. So any like trap heavy deck, basically just loses to that card. Like a few years ago when Zodiac was big, one of the other decks in that meta was Paleozoic, which is obviously a really, really trap-heavy deck. In that matchup, if someone just dropped Denko Sekka on you, your options were basically either Scoop or Cry and Scoop.
Yeah,
Pretty
both
much.
is an option.
Yeah.
I can see how Matthew would not like that card.
Yes, because he loves his trap cards. I may have locked him out a couple of times with it.
Did he cry?
He scooped once he realised he couldn't do anything.
Classic Matthew.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you hate back row decks, then you will love Denko Sekka. So the only downside about her is that she uses your normal summon, though. I suppose in a deck where you special summon a lot, that maybe doesn't matter so much. So,
Yeah.
so maybe if you're in a format where there's a lot of back row heavy decks, you can always like side it in.
Yeah.
But so anyway, on to the next one. Now this one, I've sort of cheated a little bit just because I couldn't decide between them. But I know that you two love these cards as well. The Dragon Rulers.
Yeah.
That's the only noise I can make.
I can think of plenty of other noises.
Nah, they're good.
Yeah,
Love them.
and it's a shame only Tempest is at 1. I think they can all come back and they won't cause a problem.
Wait, Tempest is at 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tempest is at 1. The other 3 are still banned.
I want a Tempest. I don't care. I'll put it in any deck. I want a Tempest.
You can play it in Blue Eyes because it's a dragon deck.
It is.
Play it in your Light Swans.
Why would
Does he have enough dragons to really banish for that, though?
I know.
No, I only have the 3, so no.
Yes. Do it. Stop JD.
Why
In
would you
fact,
do that one?
ooh. You know, fucking what's his name? The other version of Judgment. I can't remember his name.
Punishment.
Yeah. What's his summoning condition?
I think it's you have to have 4 or more banished Light Swans.
I'm just gonna check.
Light Swans are light, not wind. Nor dragon.
No, Gragonith's a dragon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I had an idea, but no, it wouldn't work. Because Judgment Dragon is not a light swan.
Unfortunately. If only it was, then you could have a Tempest as like an extra body in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were all good because they could, like, obviously you could banish 2 dragons or 2 cards at the same attribute, bring them out, but at the end of the opponent's turn they'd bounce back to your hand. Or if you banished them, you get to search them on, think a dragon of the same attribute. And I think they all had a unique effect as well, depending on which one it was, like discard that and I think either another dragon or a card at the same attribute, if I remember rightly. Discard them, then you get a unique effect depending on which ruler it was. But honestly, I think they could all come back easily to 1 and there won't be any problems, especially considering they are very hard once per turns. Like, they have like 3 effects, but you can only use 1 of those effects and only once per turn.
The way I look at them, when they were banned, I would agree they needed banning. Because they were probably one of the best cards out there when they got banned. But that was how long ago now? That was years ago now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cards come out that can counter them quite easily.
It's not only that, but there's also, you look at, I mean, don't get me wrong, for their time they were really good. But you look at what decks back then could do compared to what decks can do now.
Yes.
There's a huge gulf in power and class. So that's why I think definitely bring them all back to 1, they won't cause any problem. And then if they proceed to do nothing, then gradually bring them off.
Could you imagine them at 3? Oh.
That'd be so much fun. That's why, like, I've got a full power Dragon Ruler deck just to play for fun.
If they ever come back, I'm building Mythic Rulers again.
Same, I would as well.
That would be the first, the only deck I'd be thinking of building is the Mythic Rulers.
Yeah, that deck was so fun, that deck.
The thing is, it wasn't just good, it was also a fun deck to play.
Oh yeah, it was very good. It was
Loved
very
it.
fun. It wouldn't be, admittedly, it wouldn't be like great in terms of power level now, because obviously due to power creep and that.
Yes.
But I think it'd still be very fun to play if nothing else.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So, and then for number 7, this is one actually a card that was also relevant during the time of Dragon Rulers from the other big deck of when they were around, which was from the Spellbook deck. To be precise, it's High Priestess of Prophecy, which was like one of the boss monsters of that
Yeah.
deck. So level 7 spellcaster, and with her what you can do is you can reveal 3 Spellbook spell cards, special summoner from hand, and then you can banish a spellbook from either hand or graveyard to pop a card.
That's pretty good.
That's
AI, AI quite like the card's artwork. B, I actually also had a lot of fun with this deck as well as Dragon Rulers. I know like that format is actually quite infamous for not being the most exciting because it was only like 2 decks and that was it. And normally I'd be in the same boat as that, but I actually found both of them like really fun to play with. So it wasn't as bad. So a lot of good memories with that card.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, my Spellbook deck doesn't win so much anymore now, for obvious reasons, Judgment being banned and power creep, but no, there's a lot of good memories with that.
Yeah. Again, not
Also,
a card I played much, if at all, but I remember it.
Yeah, it's also kind of like, almost like a polar opposite of Dark Magician, because they're the same level, they have the same attack, same defense, but they're the opposite in so many ways. Like, Dark Magician is a normal monster, High Priestess is an effect monster, Dark Magician's a male, Priestess is a female, Dark Magician's dark, Priestess is light.
Yes. Yeah, I see what you mean.
yeah.
So it's interesting, like, the comparison and contrast between those two. Well, at least I found that
I'd never
anyway.
seen it. I'd never thought of that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Obviously, anyone who knows Yu-Gi-Oh probably knows what the Dark Magician is, so...
Yeah, everyone
It's quite-
should at least.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting comparison. And then at number 6, probably the most famous Yu-Gi-Oh card ever, well, it's the one that everyone would say if you asked them to name one, is Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yeah,
Just pure nostalgia on this one.
I love a bit of
Like
blue eyes.
Yeah, and like when I was a kid, obviously, admittedly, like no one really knew really knew how to play or what they was doing. But like having this card, you were like king of the playground, or like this is what you'd always try and make.
Yeah, either him or Dark Magician were the two everyone wanted back in the day.
Yeah, just because you saw them so much in anime, that made them so iconic.
Yes.
Everyone just wanted them. I think even now people still want them. Like some of the versions of Blue Eyes are incredibly desirable and as a result are really expensive to get hold of.
Oh yeah.
Strangely enough, the new Maximum Gold Blue Eyes is actually quite desirable, and there's a lot of people chasing after them. Which I was a bit surprised at, but it seems people quite like them, which is hilarious for me because from my Maximum Gold case, I actually got a playset of the Blue Eyes.
I'll have to have a look how much they are.
I did not realise they were in there. I'm actually hoping I pull one of them in the packs I've got.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're in there. There's Dark Magician as well and Red Eyes. And even though those cards have been obviously reprinted to death, I was actually surprised to learn that a lot of people are actually after them and actually really like the Maximum Gold versions.
I think that is
Wow.
more because they are such iconic cards. Some people, at least some, would want every version of them.
Maximum golds are about
Well, that's
25
true.
quid.
Well, for the blue eyes.
Yeah, I've seen one here for about 25 quid. And then others are going... I'm not even seeing any more listings for the gold ones at the moment.
To be
Let me
fair-
have a look.
Yeah, I mean, I know the demand for them is quite high, but like 25 quid a piece. Well, that means I pretty much made my money back then because I got 3 of them. I got 2 Eld Lich as
Yeah.
well.
There's a
basically
playset
got
going
my
for
money back.
64. There's a playset going for 46. These are on bids at the moment as well. But like, Jesus.
No, look at the buy it nows because like the auctions are always a bit funny.
Yeah, they're not quite right, the auctions.
Yeah, so
Or at
the
least
buy
look
it
at
nows.
sold listings.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't realise it'd gone up that much. I mean, I knew people wanted it, but I didn't think it'd gone up that much. So, unless they're harder to get than what I think they are, or something.
No, I'm looking here as well. Yeah, one with buy it now, 23.45.
Ah.
They are going for about 23 quidish, 23 to 25.
I think that's pretty good actually.
And then
look at the price of it.
Yeah, then the Dark
As I say,
Magicians
I
are
just
going
love
for
it.
14, and so are the Red Eyes.
Oh, fair play. So I actually got a fair bit of money out of my maximum gold case then.
Oh,
I
yeah.
basically made my money back. In fact, more than my money back, to be fair. So I
I'm
got
seeing
two
the
Eldritch.
movie pack. Yeah, Old Lich has gone down to 25 as well, which is good.
Eldritch is more like 20 now. I've seen some price at like 18 to 20. Admittedly, that's obviously for the reprint, like the original still more.
Yes.
So anyway, I think we've rambled long enough on that.
Yes, I would agree.
To number 5, Dark Magician Girl.
Yes.
The reasons why I like this are obvious. A,
Not so
nostalgia.
much for me.
B, yeah, not so much for that. The other reason for me is I am a man, and a straight man at that. And there's a lot of very nice fan art, we shall call it.
Well, you know, the Japanese art.
The Japanese arts are better. Like I've got a copy of like most of the Japanese arts of Dark Magician Girl just because they're so much better than the TCG ones. I mean, yeah, we've got one of them in the Lost Art promotion.
Don't you have?
Which was nice to see, but it was in my opinion, it's like my least favourite of the Japanese artworks for her.
Don't you have an otaku box poster of Dark Magician Girl? Or is it just a shirt?
I do actually. No, I have the shirt as well as the poster.
Dirty boy.
What can I say? I am a man.
You know, most men have pictures of Ferraris and that. Not James.
I don't. I've got. I've got a picture of Shion. If that helps.
Well, this is true.
She's happily pinned up on my wall for everyone to see. I did have questions from the girlfriend about that though the other day.
And how awkward did those questions get?
Not awkward enough for me to explain on here. Let's just say that.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I think most people who've seen like the original Yu-Gi-Oh would probably also like this guy as well. Again, mainly for the nostalgia more than anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, it's very iconic.
Yeah, I agree.
On to number 4, which is Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous. I've been playing Dogmatica recently, and it's a deck I've been enjoying as well. But this was a deck I decided I had to do it as soon as it was announced for the OCG, and we saw I saw the art for this card. I'm like, I am playing this. I love the art on this card. I am playing this deck. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's actually a pretty decent card as well. Like, it can't be destroyed in battle by a monster that was summoned from the extra deck. If there's a monster from the extra deck on the field, you can special summon it. It's also the searcher for its archetype as well, though you then can't summon from extra deck for the rest of the turn. But that search effect is optional, so you can just summon it out, link it away, and obviously make link plays with it. Or if you've already done like all your extra deck plays, summon her out, get the search for whatever it is you need, and continue on your combos. So definite 3 of in the deck just purely because it's the search. And I'll say I adore the artwork on this card. It is absolutely gorgeous.
Just pure silence. I just don't know enough about the card.
I don't.
I just don't know enough about the card, to be fair.
All I know is
Dogmatica
is a meta deck.
Just Google it and have a look at the artwork. I think you might like it, Axel, to be fair.
Right. Well, Dogmatica, what?
Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous.
Ah, there you go. Oh, it's that one, the one where I've mentioned before. It looks a lot like a Sword Art Online thing.
Yeah.
Very much. Yeah, no, I do like that artwork. It is a very nice artwork.
Yeah, you should see the other Dogmatica cards as well. They are pretty nice, but Ecclesia's probably my favourite.
No, I do like that artwork. Big ass hammer as well.
I know, it's a really, really nice looking card.
You love a big hammer, don't you, Axel?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's something with a big head to grab onto.
Oh, that's a. Or is that a real card or is that fan art or what?
Depends on what you're looking at.
Dogmatica Nexus.
Post a picture of it in chat.
I will do. It's a. Even if it's fan art, it's a beautiful art. There you go, centre.
No, I don't think that is a fan art. That's a real card, that.
That's a real card, mate.
That's a gorgeous artwork. I love my dragon, so you know.
Admittedly, it's a card. I've got one. Yeah, it's a card that you don't really play in the actual Dogmatica deck itself.
I would just because the artwork's awesome.
Because it's a bit of a pain in the ass to bring out, but yeah, I agree. It is a beautiful art. You should see the other ones as well, like the Maximus as well. It's also really nice, and the Fleur de Lis. All such nice artwork on them.
I do appreciate when a set of cards in general has nice artworks.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the artwork for the Dogmaticas is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I'm just scanning through now. There are some really nice looking artwork on them.
I know. Just wait till they get... Hey, so if they get reprinted then, is that something you might want to do?
Possibly.
Because you can mix it with things as well, so there's like different variants of Dogmatica you can do. It's like you wouldn't have to copy like the same version I've done, which is the Invoke version.
No, there are some. I just appreciate nice artworks.
Fair play, fair play. Anyway, moving on to number 3. This is a card I know that your brother Sean, I know he really likes this card. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon.
Who doesn't like that card?
Uno Memento.
True.
I've only really recently got back into Yu-Gi-Oh properly, so a lot of these cards, you know.
Yeah, I'd say to anyone watching, just cut Axel some slack on this. He has only got back into the game recently. So.
Yeah, I've had a busy couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I also like that artwork.
Yeah, pretty cool looking card.
Yeah.
It's not quite generic, though it's nearly generic. It's like any tuner plus one or more non-tuner synchros. It's that second bit that can be a bit awkward, though there are some decks that can sort that condition perfectly fine. But obviously, during either player's turn, you can negate a monster effect with it, destroy that monster, and then if it does destroy that monster, it gains that monster's attack until the end of the turn.
God, that could be insane.
If done right, yeah. The other effect is, if it battles a monster that's level 5 or higher, it gains the attack of the monster it's battling. It's like you play this card against any deck that relies on high-level monsters. This card can sometimes be like an auto-win against them. Like I can remember, like when this card came out, one of the big decks at the time was Cosmo, which obviously relies on the high-level ships.
Yeah.
Basically, dropping this card against them was like an auto-win. Because if they tried to pop it with Dark Destroyer, the Crystal Wing would just negate it. And then, like, if they tried to swing into it with Battle, that was also pointless as well, because all the level 4 and lowers were obviously too weak, and all the higher level ones, it didn't matter, because the Crystal Wing would just power up and punch over them anyway.
God, that would screw over my Light Swans. Yeah, no, I don't like her. That against my light, that would destroy my Light Swans just completely. They rely too much on monster effects.
This is true. Well, this is true. This is true.
This is why you don't like Mystic Knight.
Shut up.
To be honest, it's even better when summoned with the Wind Witch engine. So see, usually if you've got no monsters, you can basically make Crystal Wing indestructible without using your normal summon. You special summon the Ice Spell. The Ice Spell brings out the Glass Bell from deck and burns the opponent for 500. The Glass Bell on summon searches the Snow Bell. Special the Snow Bell. Synchro the Ice and the Glass into a level 7. And then sync the Snow Bell with the level 7 Synchro made into the Crystal Wing. So you've made the Crystal Wing. It's indestructible by the effect of the Snow Bell. And you've not used your normal summon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
That's
like
why
it.
It works.
I like it, but I don't like it.
That's why it works well when mixed with, like, say, Invoked. Because you can do the Wind Witch thing, make the indestructible Crystal Wing, then normal summon the Alistair, get the Invocation, make the Raging, get the Alistair back. You've basically got a way of powering up your Raging to help it survive in battle, and you've got 2 disruptions just off the bat right there.
It seems good.
Yeah, it is. It's also quite fun as well. Maybe that's just me.
I think I'd get frustrated at it though, just in general. If it was played against me, I'd get frustrated at it. It's one of them cards.
Oh no, it's one of those cards where yes, you'd get frustrated playing against it, but I think if you actually played with it, I think you would probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's one of those, you like to use it, but don't like it being used on you.
Yes. There are many cards like this.
Infinite impermanence.
Dragoon for one of them.
Yeah, Dragoons would be another.
Magnus.
Which, speaking of, number 2 on the list is Red Eye's Dark Dragoon.
Yay. Again, another card that screws over some of my deck. Well, both of my decks.
Obviously, the card is really good and really strong because it can't be targeted by effects, can't be destroyed by effects. During either phase turn, you can discard a card to negate a monster spell or trap and destroy it. And then if it does destroy it, it gains 1,000 attack for no reason, really. And you can also destroy a monster your opponent controls. This is without targeting it as well, and burn your opponent for its attack. I think it's the original attack it actually burns them for, but you can use that effect up to the number of normal monsters you use for the fusion summon. And if you fusion it with the Dark Magician and Red Eyes, which is like the main way people will use it, you can use that effect twice.
There's just no downside to that card that I can see.
I know. I think there's a couple of reasons behind it. Number one, obviously, due to how much power creep there's been in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now the game has changed and evolved over many years. I think you can argue that maybe cards do need to be that sort of crazy level of powerful to actually
Be
play.
competitive.
Yeah, to actually be competitive. And the other thing, this is the bit I really like about it, as well as obviously how strong it is and stuff like that. The other thing I really like about it is obviously it's meant to be a fusion between Yugi's Ace, Dark Magician, and Joey's Ace, Red Eyes, Black Dragon. So it like sort of represents the friendship between the two of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why it's so strong, or why it deserves to be so strong. So it's like a representation of their friendship.
I can see that.
So that's it. And again, I don't think the artwork's too bad either.
No, I like the artwork for it.
Interestingly, though, it's been banned in the OCG. Whether or not it will be in the TCG is no thing, because, well, A, it's hard to predict anyway, obviously, due to the COVID situation and there being not really any like in-person event. But the other thing is, it's not. Well, it has hit the ground running and people are using it here. It's not had the same impact as it has had over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could still see it maybe being banned sometime next year, but it's a bit hit and miss, like you said, with the current situation, and then not being any tournaments. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's not only that, but what actually made Dragoon really playable and put into so many decks is the Predaplant engine. You use the Predaplant Verte Anaconda Link monster, and then just have the Red Eyes Fusion, a Dark Magician, and a Red Eyes Black Dragon in your deck. And then that's what enables like nearly every deck to be able to play it. But then you've got a question: is do you ban the Dragoon, which is the power card in and of itself, the card that's causing the problems, or do you ban the card that enables every deck to play it?
Yeah.
If you take away the Predaplant, only like a Red Eyes deck or a Dark Magician deck can really play it. It'll be what it is, really. Not really much else we could say on that. We've had a good discussion about that.
Might be a video for another time, that discussion.
Potentially, yeah, we could go through that again, like maybe some other examples, do a bit more research.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a video idea. Note it down, someone.
I am noting.
Yeah, there you go. And lastly, number 1. Now, number 1 is a card. I liked it since the moment I first saw it, but I love the alternate art even more. And it is Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess. You make it with 2 or more monsters with different names. It gets 800 attack for each material you use, and then once per chain, not once per turn, you can negate a monster effect if it's activated, and then she loses 800 attack. She loses 800 attack and then negates, which is just so good. Like against any monster effect reliant deck, you make this with like 3 or 4 materials. It can really mess things up for them. But I know sometimes what some players might do to try and out it a bit quicker is bait out its negate twice, summon something with more than 1/6 attack and run it over. But that's still quite an inefficient way to deal with it. You're still having to waste that normal summon or special summon or whatever to punch over it. Plus you've got to bait out 1 or 2 negates first anyway. And it's the question is, would you be able to tolerate that? Could you still play through that?
Yeah.
That's also assuming the attack hits, but as I say, I also quite like this card's artwork, especially the alternate art. I actually think the alternate art is better than the original. Absolutely love it.
I like the original art as well. I like the art in general.
Have you seen both artworks for it?
I believe so. 1 minute, let me just Oh, okay. No, I had not seen that version.
Have you seen the second one?
Yeah, that's a...
Where it's just the girl with the bow.
Yeah, that's a nice artwork.
As I say, I love it. As I say, I think it's better than the first one. I mean, nothing against the first one. I still like that as well.
Yeah, the bear doesn't really make much sense, but you know.
Yeah, it's a bit random, the bear being in there, but, well, I suppose it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I do like the second artwork.
Yeah, I think even like the colours of the background for the second artwork, like, I know it sort of adds to it, sort of sets mood with it as well.
Yeah.
That's just me, but as I say, I just love the way it looks.
Again, like I said, I'm a sucker for nice artworks.
Same. Funny thing is, Yu-Gi-Oh was not actually known for its nice artwork once upon a time, and then you look at some of the cards now, and it's it's a bit of a different story.
I've just found that. You might like that, James.
Oh.
I've just entered in the group chat.
Yep, that's the one. That's the one.
And I like that.
Where's the bear?
I do
There's no
like
need
that.
for the bear. Yep, especially with the moonlight and the stars, everything in the background.
It just adds something to it.
Yeah, I think it adds more to it than what like the bear did in the other artwork, to be honest.
Yeah, it's still the bear, unless they make a card which sort of explains the bear a little bit. Yeah, I don't see the point of the bear. And it's a polar bear of all types of bears as well.
It's not even like a polar bear, it's like a green bear.
Yeah, but if you look at the facial shape and that, I think it's actually meant to be a polar bear.
and they've just
Well,
coloured
if
it
it's
green.
a green bear, if
Yes.
it's a coloured polar bear, it's a polo bear.
Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, like especially on this alternate art, you know, like the way it's decorated, the little stars, sparkles, moon, everything. And the way the bow is presented makes it look like it is some kind of heavenly object, which fits.
Okay, James has just gone quiet.
On the alternate art is so much better because with the moonlight, the stars shimmering down, even like the glistening on the water. I'm assuming it's water at the bottom. Like the outline of the actual bow itself makes it look like a heavenly object, which fits with the name Bow of the Goddess.
Yes. Well, I assume the woman is meant to be the goddess. Yeah, I would assume.
Potentially.
Well, the fact is the same woman wielding the bow of the goddess in both artworks. You'd have to. I would assume she is meant to be the goddess.
Or like the chosen one of the goddess or something
Yeah, or
like that.
just something along them lines. She still looks like Sinon from Sword Art Online, though.
The child of the
I
prophets.
can see where you come from on that.
Bow wielder with ears, blue hair. Sinon from Sword Art Online.
Fair play.
Except I don't think she ever rides a bear. And added actually fairy as well. They're fairies in Elfheim.
Well, yeah, this is true.
That's
So
right.
anyway, that does it for my personal top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Of course, there'll be many other top 5s and top 10s to come.
Yeah.
And I think that just about does it.
So, that's it for our first ever podcast, but don't worry, we will be back with some more amazing content very soon.
That's right. We will be doing a discussion on Another, which is a thriller horror anime that's not for the faint at heart.
We will also be doing more top 10 lists in the near future. So if there's any you want us to cover, just let us know in the comments down below.
If you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe. And watch out for our next video, which will be coming very soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
In a bit.